All right, 2 minutes silence for qualifying. Good luck.
Live.
Welcome, everybody, to Mid-Ohio Raceway Park. Hey, it's Wayne Owens hanging out with Taylor Burris. Andy DeLay is off playing broadcaster somewhere else out at the Worldwide Technology Speedway and the SCCA event this weekend. So you get to hang out with the two cool kids from Bird and River Radio. Taylor, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, but of course we got to start off with what you just said. It's Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, not what you just said. I had a... Sorry, it's my inner sports car driver coming out a little bit. So, anyway, hello everyone. I hope everyone's having a great night. Hope everyone's staying safe amidst everything going on. But we hope to provide you a little bit of fun here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course with the NASCAR Xfinity cars here for the OBRL.
Most definitely. And the cool part about tonight and the fun part about road course racing, as much as I'm not a huge fan of road courses, it is a lot smaller race, a lot shorter race. This one only 50 laps here tonight around this 2.25 mile, 13 turn, beautiful road course in the middle of Ohio.
It is. I mean, this is going to provide a lot of twists and turns. A lot of drivers are going to be testing the absolute of their race cars here tonight, and it's going to be exciting to watch. I mean, a lot of great passing opportunities. You got to places such as the Keyhole over at Turn 2, the S's from Turn 6 to Turn 8, the Thunder Valley, trying to set up for the carousel, the final two corners there at Turn 12 and Turn 13. I mean, we've seen, for those who have watched NASCAR races here at Mid-Ohio, we know how exciting it can be. The only thing we're missing is probably a little bit of rain, but iRacing hasn't had that ability to get set up for yet, so hashtag soon.
Yeah, hashtag soon. In fact, actually, speaking of hashtag soon, I saw something in the OBRL Discord earlier today, Taylor. Now, nothing's been confirmed 100% yet, but rumor has it that our dear friend in NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr., is working on getting yet another track ready to go for iRacing, that being one Hickory Motor Speedway.
I saw that, and that's going to be exciting to see. Hickory Speedway is coming to iRacing. Of course, that's one of the many tracks, let's be honest, that Dale Earnhardt Jr. has helped bring onto the iRacing service. Of course, North Wilkesboro being one of those famous ones that has just been released not too long ago. And then, of course, they are trying to get Nashville Fairgrounds and, of course, Hickory. I mean, I got to say, this year of iRacing is probably going to be one of the best next couple of builds. I mean, we got next week the new build coming out with the 1987 Cup cars of the Ford Thunderbird and Chevy Monte Carlo. I mean, it's going to be fun to race those.
Oh, yeah, it is going to be absolutely amazing to race those. And the cool paint schemes that you'll get to see coming along with such retro rides like the Pontiac Thunderbird. You know, the Thunderbird was actually a very popular car throughout the late 80s and even into the mid 90s. And, actually, even into the late 90s, you still saw Thunderbirds out on the road. It wasn't really until, I'd say probably about 2002 that we didn't really start seeing those cars out on the highway anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. And after that, we went to the Tourist, which not one of my favorite Fords that have came to the NASCAR circuit. So, but we'll move on with that.
I'm not a fan of a Taurus in general, but then again, it feels like I'm driving inside a giant turtle.
Pretty much. That's what it looks like. I mean, for the most part.
I mean, the old school Tauruses, I should say. The new school Tauruses, actually, interestingly enough, and this was done through a little bit of research, actually mimic the body of the limited model Ford 500 that Ford came out with for a couple of years.
Yeah, the new ones have been quite phenomenal, beautiful cars that they have. But, of course, here, these cars that we have out on the track, the Camaros, Mustang, and Toyota Supras are some of the cars that we will be focused on here tonight. And of course, Wayne, this is going to be exciting to watch these drivers. I see a lot of fast lap times currently right now. The Raging Cajun Ed Jones sits at the top of the leaderboard with a 127.353.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It's funny. We were talking to our buddy Coco, who actually, interestingly enough, is in the same boat that Andy was in and has been suspended pending getting his IPL down just a little bit. So, yeah, and the sad part is we thought there couldn't be anybody as bad as Andy. But granted, we were definitely proven wrong here. But no, Eddie Jones. We were talking to Coco Puffs off the air before we got started tonight, and interestingly enough, Coco had actually mentioned that Eddie was going to be the one to look out for, but it looks like actually as of the most recent qualifiers right now here, Mike Watts has actually turned the new poll app right now at roughly I'd say about 2/100ths of a second, a little under 2/100ths of a second quicker. And actually, scratch that even, Ed Larson Adams now coming in at a 1:26.980, which is every bit of about 0.2 of a second quicker than both of those guys.
He was the only driver in practice to get inside the 126s here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. So going to be interesting to see what he can do as we progress through this race tonight. It's only going to be 50 laps, so nice, short, sweet, and simple. And if I remember looking at my notes correctly, Wayne, I think no cautions, local cautions only on the track.
I haven't heard correctly on that one yet. Race control hasn't confirmed for us yet. But if we do see, I would say with it being a road course, localized cautions in different spots of the track would probably make the most sense for tonight overall.
Of course. I mean, this isn't like we're going to block the track up on an oval course. This road course, we have plenty of time to get around and clear the track out in case the track is blocked, unless it's, the entire field on lap one.
Most definitely. We'll hope that that's definitely not the case.
But you never know. It is a road course.
And something else too, and this is something that we were talking about off the air tonight too before we went live here, is that considering this is my first time actually making the trip up here to Mid-Ohio, if you look at Mid-Ohio and think about it comparatively to some of the other road courses that we see on the NASCAR circuit, whether it be Sonoma or whether it be Watkins Glen, Sonoma actually is probably the most comparative to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, simply because of the fact being that tight keyhole in turn 2 is very eerily similar to that of turn 11 coming out of Sonoma. However, the variance of the degree of cornering is a lot tighter here at Mid-Ohio.
It certainly is, and that's what's going to be an opportunity for a lot of drivers to try and make the pass there on this circuit. We're going to be seeing a lot of side-by-side action going into the entrance of that corner, a lot of contact as well, and then even possibly cars going completely missing the braking zone and going off course. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that area of the keyhole. Also, another area is going to be pretty much from turn 4 all the way to turn 8, from the S's and that's a lot of elevation changes that these drivers are going to have to overcome. A lot of off-camber corners as well. You're pretty much going over blind corners as well, coming up to turn 5 and 6. So you have to be careful, listen to your spotters, and keep vigilant throughout the entire lap here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
And on top of that, too, not only that, but then if you look at pit road, too, coming off of turn number 12, right before you get to turn number 13, it is such a thin entryway. And on top of that, pit road speed is only 45 miles an hour. And the fact that it is so thin on entry, these guys have literally got to get themselves slowed down before they even touch the entry to pit road, because if not, we're going to see some speeding penalties tonight.
Most definitely indeed. We'll see a lot of speeding penalties if they're not careful here tonight. Looking through the field right now, I'm looking at the number 29 of Michael Berger, who is currently sitting in 5th with a 128.843 in his number 29 Ford Mustang. Coming now through Thunder Valley here and having a good lap time correct now coming up as he's working his way up towards the carousel, coming over turn 11, an uphill blind corner, and then now through the carousel. He tries to hug the inside, but has to dive it down. You want to kind of double apex this corner and then try to keep as straight as possible through turn 13 to get a nice run off through the front straightaway here, which in fact, back in the old days, so you're talking 90s and 80s, of course, for me, that's probably before I was even born, but the back straightaway here where they're coming up over the keyhole, it actually used to be the start-finish line for when they raced the Camel GT era.
Well, and again too, and this is something that I love. I love the fact that I've got a road course junkie here with me, or at least a road racing professional, I should say, because road racing definitely is not something that road racing definitely not something that is my forte. So I'm glad I've got Taylor here to keep me straight as far as these road courses are concerned here.
Well, I appreciate I consider it an honor that you said I'm a professional. I just sometimes like to turn right and left besides just turning left.
Well, and obviously we know people who like to turn left. Don't get me wrong. If I took the time to actually sit and learn a road course, I'm somewhat decent at Watkins Glen. I can turn some decent laps there, but most other road courses like Road America or Sonoma or even Mid-Ohio, which actually one of the other fun parts about iRacing too is that you can go out as a ghost car when you're in a spectator mode and try to turn laps yourself. I went out and tried to turn some laps, and yeah, that keyhole caught me pretty bad.
Yeah, if only I could watch him when he was doing that. That would have been more exciting. But anyway, it looks like we are about to go racing here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car. Of course, the field has been set. And, of course, at the top of the leaderboard is going to be Ed Larson Adams with a 126.980. Starting second on the inside will be 50 Watts and a 127.166, your front row. Raging Cage and Ed Jones will be starting from third position, followed by Joel Kilburn in fourth. Fifth will be Michael Berger with Ben Shepard in sixth. Seventh, the Bandit Rupert in eighth is going to be Commandant Schultz. Ninth, going to be Eric Esri. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be John Manowski.
And Jim Westerfield comes in starting in 11th. We've got Crisco in the number 12 position. Boy Toy, Troy Torgerson, Mike Everhart, Ray Smith, round out your top 15. Gary Wobolt, Mike Schrader, Dwayne MacArthur, and Patrick Milligan coming in 18th. Peter Norquay in 19th. Terry Atwood in 20th. Steve the Mule Thompson, we're actually not sure if he's racing tonight, potentially, because he did not turn times at all in practice or qualifying, in 24th position. Bruce Pearson and Matt Bankos round out the rest of the field here tonight. Normally, with the Old Bastards Racing League, we can expect about 35 to 36 cars, if not more.
Yeah, I know
Tonight, being a road course, about a third of the field being chopped off here or not competing, and it's going to be interesting to see how the points work out for the I-40 Media Metro Ford of Chicago Grand National Series here, Taylor.
Do you think some people got scared?
I don't know about scared. I think we would have to talk to the ones who actually didn't compete tonight to see what their thoughts are about it. But we've gotten the command to fire the motors here, and they are starting the circulatory pace lap around Mid-Ohio here. Pace lights are off on the pace car, so they're going to come around the corners here, and we're going to get ready to get this bad boy underway here in just a moment.
Coming around the carousel right now, the pace car is going to make that hard left turn down pit road, and we're going to turn them loose here.
We are going to turn them loose. They're coming around turn 12 now through turn 13. Coming to the start-finish line. Green flag is in the air. We're live here at the Old Bastards Racing League. 50 laps in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex. Coming into turn number 1, Taylor.
Here they come through turn number 1, and everybody's trying to keep a single file for the most part. It's still going to be a battle for the race lead between Ed Larson and 50 Watts in the 99 as they work their way up to the keyhole, hitting the braking zones, dropping it down to at least second gear and keeping it nice and smooth. So far, nobody going off course into the gravel trap here. Everybody's keeping it nice and smooth as they come out of the keyhole down the back straightaway.
And it looked like we saw 50 Watts get a little bit of wheel hop there as he come through that keyhole right there down the back straightaway now as they come out through turn number 3 here, and now heading into turn number 4 right here at the chicane.
Looks like Joe Kilburn is trying to get it as we see a lockup from Larson there. He's going to go off course, and here goes 50 Watts.
He almost contact.
And he goes off course big time now as we still have a battle for the race lead as Joe Kilburn looks to the inside of Larson as they come through the S's and heading over towards Thunder Valley.
Oh, man, that was an amazing save by both Larson Adams and by Mike Watts, guys. I'll be honest with you. You know, that's the one thing, though, I will say I love about road course racing. You never know what is going to happen at these road courses.
And with that, we got a couple of new people inside the top 3. Joe Kilburn moved to second, while the Raging Cage and Ed Jones now moves up to the third position as they come up to the carousel. And Kilburn is definitely putting the pressure onto the back bumper of Adams as they come out of the carousel through turn 13 to start complete lap number 1 at Mid-Ohio.
Lap number 1 is in the books here, and we've already had two interesting incidents. Now, you know, one thing, too, that we have to be cautious about, and this is one thing I'm concerned about, is that with it being a road course, unlike a speedway, whether it be an intermediate or super speedway, incident points, because if these guys make too many mistakes, we're going to see disqualifications, and with road courses, there is a chance so many mistakes that can and will potentially happen here tonight.
Oh, I agree with you on that, Wayne, as we'll watch the battle for a second. But one must place of your car, one off course, as we just saw Kilburn go a little bit too wide into the grass, and he's going to actually let the Raging Cage and Ed Jones by to move him to second. Can he hold the position, though? Almost has a little brake smoke coming out of his car as they come up over the crest of the hill through the S's in his number 14 Toyota Supra.
Yep, coming through the S's now as they come out of turn number 8 here, and it looks like Ed Adams ahead by now about 2 car lengths as they now come up the hill now and around and about they go here. Taylor, you know, so far it's kind of settled out. Not too much action to talk about as they head into Thunder Valley.
No, they're keeping it single file for the most part. I say the closest battle is that battle for second, though, between Ed Jones and Joe Kilburn. And then also don't forget the 99 to 50 Watts right behind him as well. He gets a little bit loose coming out of turn number 11 as they come through the carousel.
Yep, coming through the carousel. He did get just a little bit squirrely there now. And out of turn number 13, lap number 2 is in the books. Ooh,
he was
squirrely again.
I think I think that Toyota Supra, he's thinking it's more of a drifting car than it is for a NASCAR stock car.
Well, if that's the case, I think he might want to get him an actual Toyota Supra, because otherwise he's not going to be drifted very far except into that outside retaining wall.
Probably, as they are now coming up through the keyhole right now. It's still going to be Larson holding on to the race lead by about 1.4 seconds over Ed Jones and Joe Kilburn, not too far behind either. Want to take a little bit further back look into the 7th and 8th position. There's about a 4-car battle for that position between Michael Bridger, Commandant Schultz, Rupert, and John Manowski. These 4 cars are doing a pretty good battle right now as John Manowski looks to the inside of Rupert heading into turn 4.
Yep, heading through turn number 4. Actually, right now it's a 3-car side-by-side here. And Kevin Rupert looks like he tried to make just a little bit of a move coming out of the chicane there. And now as they get ready to head into the S's, they're going to break out again single file, about a 1 to 2 car breakaway here. Now, again, coming out of turn 6 into turn number 7, Taylor.
Yeah, he's trying to get it, but that off course just made him lose all that momentum, and he's going to pay for it right now as he has to deal with Mike Schrader in the number 4 as they work their way through Thunder Valley, heading up to turn 10 and 11.
Yep, heading through turns 10 and 11 right now. And again, all single file grouped up back here watching Mike Schrader in the number 4 machine as now, again, outside of turn number 8 here, heading into Thunder Valley and around the carousel now through turns 12 and 13 here.
As they come off of turn number 13 right now to complete lap number 4 here at Mid-Ohio, it is still going to be Larson Adams over for the race lead, and he has pulled out another 0.3 over Ed Jones to about 1.7 seconds, and it's pretty much spaced out amongst those top 5 cars. This is probably the best battle you have on the track from about 5th on to 10th and 11th right now.
Yeah, and everybody broken out again, like you said, Taylor, really, really well so far here. About a 1.5 second breakaway between Ed Adams and Ed Jones here, and then you go all the way back to 3rd position where it's about a 2.1 second gap between the leader, and then another full, 9/10 of a second, a little more than 9/10 of a second, all the way back to Mike Watts.
Ooh, trouble as in China Beach right now. It looks like Michael Brigger has gone off course in his number 29 Ford Mustang. He has to now recover and try to get out of the gravel trap and get back out onto the racetrack, but he just overshot the corner entry into the turn 4, and now he's going to pay for it. He's dropping outside the top 15 as the 159 also of Terry Atwood's going to go around.
Ooh, and Terry Atwood also going around as well. Yeah, you're right there, Taylor, looking at him. He just got a little squirrely here, but the fact of, and this is another good thing too that we can point out too with iRacing, is that the physics engine inside of the game here, these guys, or simulation, I can't even begin to call it a game. If I do, I'm going to have to smack myself. But
I was about to come to this microphone and smack you myself.
wait, you're in the booth here with me, 6 feet apart. How are you going to come to a microphone? That just makes no sense. But either way,
social distancing.
Either way, though, the fact of the matter is the great part of the simulation and the physics engines is that if you get squirrely and you end up going off into the sand trap and have to come back out through the grass at any point in time, the feeling of this car is so real that you're actually going to get squirrely in the grass, and potentially, if you're not very careful, you're going to lose even more spots because it's going to take even more time to get actually back out on the course.
It will, and it's going to be difficult for those tires to try to get heat back in them because the tires, when they have that heat buildup, they stick to all that grass, all that gravel sticking to the tires. It's going to make it a little difficult for these drivers to try to mandate. But, gentlemen, I want to look at the race lead right now. The top 3 are less than a second apart from each other as they are working their way up through the S's, heading over to Thunder Valley as Ed Jones, the Raging Cajun, is your race leader as Larson has dropped all the way back to 4th. And I got to say, this is going to be a good battle right here between the top 3.
Yeah, I was definitely concerned to see how Ed Adams fell all the way back like he did. Actually, roughly 3 seconds now, or almost 5 seconds actually back at the leader right now. I've got a feeling he must have went off track when we weren't paying attention to him there for a split second. But either way, we do want to take a shout out here a moment and say hello to Miss Princess Crystal. We are doing a wonderful. And, you know, it's funny. I do believe our producer, Mr. Coco Puff, said he had to go out and do some things. But yet, Coco just showed himself on camera here. So he's down in pit road He lied to us, Taylor.
He did. I'm very disappointed, Coco. You lied to us. Anyway, Princess Crystal, thanks for always coming on and watching our broadcast. I hope you're doing good, staying safe, and we continue to watch the battle between the top three of the Raging Cage and Ed Jones, Joe Kilburn, and Vinny Watts. Now, Mike Watts in that number 99.
Yep, we are definitely watching this battle tight here. 0.4 seconds actually on the nose is Joltex Kilburn's difference to Ed Jones in the front position right now as they're working their way through out of the chicane now, getting ready to head into the S's here, Taylor.
Yep, coming up to turn number 6 now. They try to hug that inner curbing right there and now get back over to the right side and left side again now as they look to see, as we see Kilburn try to take a peek to the inside before they got to turn number 8, but without twice of it as they climb up through turn 9 and make the run through Thunder Valley.
Yeah, through Thunder Valley now as we now come into turn number 10 here. And, it looks like a little bit of trouble for Ed Jones. He might have pancaked that inside girder wall there, Taylor.
Don't see anything really. He's still out there on the track. Hasn't pancaked anything. No damage to that number 14 Toyota Supra from my angle.
Yeah, it looked like, from what I could see, it looked like he made just a little bit of contact with that right rear fender. It wasn't enough to necessarily damage the car, but it gave him a little bit of a bump.
I'll have to keep an eye to see how that's going to affect his race as we continue to progress here through the night at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, but it is a Toyota 1, 2, 3 here. The next car back would be, of course, Ed Adams in his Chevy Camaro, and then Ben Shepherd as well in his Camaro. The first Ford you're going to see probably out there on the racetrack will be none other than Rupert in the number 12.
Yep, old Kevin Rupert back in the 8th position right now. In fact, actually, we're following along here with Ben Shepherd in the 69 machine. Shepherd has been on a tear lately in the other OBRL series as of late, so we'll follow along here with him for just a hot minute, sitting about 7.9 seconds back off of the leader in 5th position here as he comes out of the chicane now heading for the S's in turn 6.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. It's about now 9 seconds. So he's lost a little bit of time there, Wayne, as we worked our way through the field as he's coming up to turn number 9 and through Thunder Valley. He does have his eyes, though, not too far behind none other than Ed Larson Adams.
Yep, none other than Ed Adams indeed. In fact, he's locked eyes with him here, Taylor. Probably looking at live timing and scoring right now as it sits here. He's still about give or take, actually now about 2, maybe 2.5 seconds off of Ed Larson Adams there in the 4th position. But again, these guys all single file here, no real localized cautions now that they've gotten sorted out here. And it looks like we have had ourselves, actually, again, OBRL style, a very clean race as we are now 8 laps into our 50-lap feature.
Yeah, not even a fifth through the race just yet. We will in a couple of laps' time, but still a lot of pressure up towards the front of the field amongst our top 3 with the 99 of Watts. And then, of course, Joe Kilburn in 2nd, following Ed Jones, the Raging Cage, and once again, still leading the way. We saw how dominant he was last week at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But, of course, he was the one who took home the checkered flag at that time.
Yeah, he definitely was here. And actually, looking at the timing and scoring here, roughly about less than 0.2 of a second now separate them as they come out of the S's here. Taylor getting ready to come up the short chute here, coming through now turn number 8, heading for Thunder Valley.
Yep, coming up now through turn number 9. They make the climb over the small hill and then back down through Thunder Valley before they make their way up to turn number 11. As we see Kilburn trying to see if he can stick his nose to the inside through turn 11, thanks twice of it, and now sets up for the carousel of turn number 12. This allows Watts to gain a little bit of ground. Sometimes it's best to take a little bit of a 2 type of apex, not try to always take it in one. These drivers try to do it in one shot to get the best straight exit through turn 13 and down the front straightaway, which they're able to do quite well. But looking at the lap times, the time is starting to fall off just a little bit for some drivers. Currently, the fastest driver out on track amongst the top 10 has to go to none other than Ed Adams.
Yeah, Ed Adams right now so far holds the top time as far as laps around the circuit go here, a 1:28.252, showing his last lap time actually a 1:27.527, his current fastest on the circuit. And actually, matter of fact, Ed Jones actually just turned the best lap of the race here, Taylor, at a 1:27.514.
Yeah, Jones has set the fastest lap of the race here so far as we work their way up to turn number 4 past China Beach. getting ready to now set up as we see Watts try to take a peek to the inside of Kilburn as they climb up the hill of turn number 5 and then back down to turn 6 here to make it through the S's.
Yep, coming through the S's now, turn 6, getting ready to head into turn number 7 there. You can see that Ed Jones gets just enough of a breakaway as he comes out of turn 7, as now they head into turn 8 through the short chute, heading into Thunder Valley.
Yeah, I see a big run, though, for Watts. He was able to get a lot of momentum through that section of the course as they come through Thunder Valley up to turn number 11. Will he take to the peak to the inside of that number 99 Bang Energy Toyota Supra? The answer will be no, not this time, as he still tries to find a way to get around Kilburn.
Yep, then they're coming around through the carousel now, out of turn 12 through turn number 13 here. And the breakaway now, not by... Oh, and he gets squirrely again out of 13 there. That carousel is not his friend here tonight, Taylor.
Well, it can't be, but just not in this kind of car. I mean, he is practically trying to get ready to set up for Formula Drifting, which I got to say, if you are a fan of Formula Drifting, go check out the Podium Esports World Drifting Association series. That's a fun show if you want to get have fun with that.
I was on the break.
Well, that too, and then you also can't forget the other thing that Taylor's involved in, the Porsche Club of America, that has a bunch of different interesting races that you guys can check out over on the Podium Esports Network. But as far as things going on here in the Old Bastards Racing League here, coming down through the back straightaway here, Taylor, out of turn, just past turn number 3, heading into turn number 4 here. As we head into the chicane, it gets a little tight-lipped there for just a second between 50 Watts and Joel Tex Kilburn, as now they're coming off of turn number 5, heading for the S's.
Yes, they are coming up through turn 6. Little lockup, though, by Jones as they come through turn 6 and now climbing up through turn 7 as they come out of the S's. We're making the run to turn number 9. It's still going to be Jones, though, holding off by about a 0.7 of a second lead over Kilburn and Watts. And still, pretty much no other major battles. I'm looking through the field right now. This is probably the best battle we have. I see Commandant Schultz, and then, of course, Ezra is going nose to tail for 6 and 7. But other than that, everybody's kind of separated themselves by either anywhere between half a second to a full second or more, as I'm actually watching that battle for 6, as Ezra was able to get a big run out over turn 10 and setting up through Thunder Valley in turn 11.
Then it looks like, we were talking about Michael Berger earlier here, Taylor, but it looks like he had a little bit of an incident here. I'm looking at him on the live timing and scoring charts here. He dropped all the way back now to, where is it, the 19th position here, and it's still about a 7-second battle between him and 20th.
So the trouble there for him as well, as it looks like, I think somebody went off course in front of him. I couldn't quite tell who.
Couldn't get an exact number on that here. It looks like it's the Zippo car of Bruce Pearson in the number 22 machine. And, and it's going to be side by side, a little bit of a battle here. Berger's going to take the spot on him, and he's going to go ahead and claim that 18th place back here and see if he can gain a little bit more ground, as now they're coming out of turn 6 through turn 7 now as they head through the S's. Actually, no. Excuse me, coming through the carousel.
You're on the other end of the course.
Boy, see, this is why I hate road courses, because I can't ever pay attention to them.
Got to just go one corner at a time, Wayne. One corner at a time.
Well, I do have the Swami of the road course here with me, so
don't call me that. No contact!
Oh, contact!
Big contact between Everhart and Breaker. Oh my goodness!
Woo! Yeah, that was some hard contact as they were hitting the brakes coming through the keyhole here, and that is going to do some heavy damage to that machine of Michael Berger here. So we're going to see a localized turn-based caution here, Taylor. It looks like Berger, his night actually is done.
Yeah, a lot of damage to the front nose of that car, possible damage to the engine as well. As for Everhart, a lot of rear-end damage. He can still continue out on the track, which he has decided to do, but it is going to affect the balance of the race car a little bit and make it a little bit more difficult for him to drive out there on this circuit. But currently sitting back, probably going to be outside the top 20 if he's not careful after that incident. We'll have to wait and see when timing and scoring loops back around.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see how timing and scoring fares here, but it looks like that wreck actually totally took off the entire rear of that car. So the only thing he's got holding on to him right now is just the skirts on the corners here, Taylor, and that wing even on the back is barely holding on coming through Thunder Valley here.
Yeah, so it's going to be difficult to see what he can do here tonight and finish off this race here. But we'll have to keep an eye and see what he can accomplish as he's coming up now through the carousel. And looking at his lap times, he's fallen off quite a decent amount. I mean, he's fallen almost little over 2 seconds compared to his fastest lap time of a 1:32. But we'll see what he does as he come across the line, sitting now 18th, Mr. Everhart.
Yeah, start-finish line marker that time around. That last lap for him was a 1:44. He lost over 12 seconds that lap.
Meanwhile, back up to our race leaders of Jones, Kilburn, and Watts. They are still lined up nose to tail. About 1.4 seconds separates the three drivers from each other as they are now working their way up to the keyhole. Still no pressure from behind from the rest of the field as Larson is about another 4 seconds back, and then Ben Shepherd is another 14 seconds back. So it's pretty much the Toyota show up towards the front of the field with Jones, Kilburn, and Watts. Larson trying every which way to catch back up to this group of three, but it's going to be a long night for him. He's going to need a little help probably from the pit stop strategy. That'll happen a little later on here tonight.
Yeah, and with it being 60% fuel and tires across the board here with a 50-lap show, I would presume that we may see these guys come in for pit stops probably about lap 15 would be about right if I were to time it as far as pits go here for Mid-Ohio. But either way, you mentioned though, as far as the pit stop strategy coming up here, yeah, these guys that are from 5th on back or even 4th on back even. They're going to need a little help because, and one thing we also noticed too, now as little as I actually watch road racing, Supras, as far as overall, even in your road cars, your street cars, you're going to find out that those cars are really good on these tracks as well.
Yeah, but if we watch and see Ben Shepherd goes off course, loses a ton of positions, but these Toyota Supras have been built pretty well for the circuit right now, and showing it here tonight with the skills of these drivers that we're watching as Jonas is starting to just pull a little bit of a gap over Kilburn. About half a second separates him. Now it's down to about 0.4 of a second as they come out of turn one.
Just a little bit, yeah. Coming through turn number one, heading for the keyhole here is now we're starting to catch a little bit of lap traffic here, Taylor. It looks like Dwayne MacArthur in the 182 is going to be one of the first ones to potentially go a lap down here, as most everybody else that we see on pit road here is already taken out of the car here, and that is going to go ahead and put a lap down on Dwayne MacArthur. Still one of the only cars left on the tail end of the field here that's still running.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but he's still running out there on the track, so he could have a good points night for him if he's able to maintain and stay out on the track. Sometimes survival is the most critical thing when it comes to racing a road course. Letting people make the mistakes can cost you the opportunity to get a good finish, so he could be working his way, just racing the racetrack, as I would always say.
Well, and that's not a bad thought to have either, too, because the thing with speedways, and this is something that we often compare to road courses, with speedways, it's literally all or nothing. You're either gonna bring it or you're not gonna have it at all. With road courses, again, we talked about it at the top of the show, or Taylor did, where you have plenty of time to, if something happens where you go off course, to recover, or if somebody else goes off course. Let's say, prime example, let's say Ken Schultz here in the 91 machine, we'll go back to him in just a little bit here. Let's say that, Ed Adams goes off course here 5 seconds ahead. That 14 to 15 seconds or more that he is behind right now, Ken Schultz could easily make up while Ed Adams gets back on the race surface.
And I agree with you on that, as we have our first driver inside the top 5 to blink to come down pit road. The 99 of Mike Watts is coming down there as he gets his service required on his number 99 Toyota Supra, and he'll drop his way down. So the question now is, what will Jones, Kilburn, and Adams do next time around, as we keep an eye and watch the race leaders as they come now up to turn number 4?
It'll be curious to see. In fact, it's even funnier. I actually called it for lap 15 with pit stops. I wonder if Mike is actually sitting here listening to the broadcast tonight instead of focusing on his driving. We love you, Fitty. Either way, man. Yeah, we're still following these top lead guys here right now. Joltex, Kilburn, Ed Jones, and Ed Adams. Your top 3 breakaway right now here. And even in the breakaway, matter of fact, is still about 0.6 seconds between Ed Jones and Joel Kilburn, and then still about another 4.5 to 5 seconds back is Ed Adams in the 3rd position now.
Yes, indeed it is. As we now see Jones coming up towards pit entry, and he will pit this time around. What about Kilburn? Will he follow suit? The answer will be yes.
He is going to follow suit.
Same thing with Adams. Now here, one is going to be for Commandant Schultz. Will he come down pit road as well, as he is under immense pressure, though, from the 27 of Eric Esery?
He is definitely under immediate pressure here as he comes through turn number 7, actually turn number 12 and 13, and he is also going to come down pit road here. So about lap 15 to 16. I don't know how I picked it tonight, guys. I think Steve definitely didn't put a bug in my ear, so we can't thank him. I think it must have been Coco. He must have sent some smoke signals, puff, puff, pass. Here, go pit.
Here we go. That's probably what he had to do. As we now have.
After all, he was on pit road earlier.
He was. As we have a new race leader, the 27 of Eric Esri, staying out on the racetrack once again to continue on through his way here at the racetrack. And with that, also Rupert following in second with Ray Smith in third. So your top three lined up nose to tail, but they will probably have to pit here in moments' notice. But with that, Mike Watts in the 99, once those three pits, will have inherited the race lead. And with that, pretty good strategy call for him. He's probably going to have over about a 2 to 3 second lead over the Raging Cajun Ed Jones.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have a little bit of a lead built up. And again, that's where strategy comes into play here, because, it's probable that, I've got the weirdest feeling too. I've got a feeling that Ed Jones had thought about pitting that last time by, but was like, stick it for one more lap, see what I can get out of it. But in this case, it did not pan out for him, as now we're seeing Eric Esri now coming out of turn number 9 into turn number 10 here through the short chute and heading into around. Is he going to come into the pit road area? Yes, around turn 12, and now down pit road comes our leader, Eric Esri.
And as well as Rupert will follow suit as well. But Ray Smith will stay out another lap here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course to continue on. And now that puts a gap between him and Mike Watts to about 2.1 seconds and closing. So we will see Watts probably very soon, catch up to the back bumper of the 156 of Ray Smith. But with that, the gap between Watts and Jones is 3.6 seconds. So that's the biggest gap we've seen between the race leaders.
That is a very healthy gap too. On top of that, and it's gonna take a hot minute to catch up. So literally, unless something happens to Mike here, I don't foresee that we're going to see a change for the race lead anytime soon.
Probably not, as we now see them come up to turn number 4 here, passing China Beach, climbing turn 5 to set up for the S's. And we see Smith trying to hold on to his race car, but it's still not going to be a matter of time before the 99 of Mike Watts catches up and will probably pass him here in the next couple of corners.
Most definitely. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, while we've got a hot minute and a break in the action here, while these guys make their green flag pit stops, we're going to take a quick breather. We're going to come back in about, we'll say 1 minute. We're going to crank it up here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
156.
No problem.
All right, we're back here at the Old Bastards Racing League and the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course with the I-40 Media Metro Ford of Chicago Grand National Series and the Mid-Ohio 50, I guess would be about the best way. Actually, no, the Mid-Ohio 25, technically, since we're on a 2.25 mile road course here. And Taylor, we're still seeing Mike Watts. He's jumped out to an even greater lead now, just a little shy of 4 seconds now over Ed Jones as he comes through the carousel now at turn number 12 into 13.
It's actually grown to about 4.4 seconds, now 4.5 seconds between him and Ed Jones as he comes across the line as we are approaching just shy of the halfway point here in a couple of laps here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But he is showing very smooth, consistent lap times as he worked his way out of turn 1, heading to the run up to the keyhole and sets up for that corner entry. But looking through the field right now, pretty much everybody is separating themselves quite well. For the closest battle is that battle for third, and that's between Adams and Kilburn, as Adams makes the pass for the inside for get up to third position, as Kilburn tried to catch up but won't make it work as they come out of the keyhole down the back straightaway.
Yeah, and looking at it right now here, and actually it looks like Ed Adams just barely made the pass the last time by here. We're watching Kilburn now in the fourth position here as they come through the back straightaway now through turn number 3, getting ready to head through the corners here and up to the chicane, up to the high lift, and down around again here, Taylor.
He will, as they see, get a little bit loose right there from Adams, as well as Kilburn, as they come down through turn number 6 and set up for turn 7, as they still go single file through this section of the course, catching up to a little bit of lap traffic in front of them.
Yep, just a little bit of lap traffic, which is...
Actually, no, that's Jones actually in front of them, as the lap car is almost stopped out on the racetrack. They have to avoid him quickly. That looks like to be the 86.
Let's see if we can get a number on that here. The 86 machine. We're taking a look here at live timing and scoring here. That was Peter Norquay, and no, it doesn't look like he was stopped. It looks like he is actually holding tight. He is a lap down though, but he's the first car 1 lap down coming across the start finish line this time around. And those guys were a little bit further behind him than last time by. He goes Norquay into the grass, and now he's going to come back onto the track and into the outside retaining wall here. That is going to do some hefty damage to that left side, Taylor, as he's going to have to really get himself back up to speed here coming through the keyhole.
He is. He's going to try to slow it down and try to get through there as he tries to hug the inside, but then goes way wide off corner exit and sets for the back straightaway, but he'll have to continue on and try to see if he can get it down pit road to get that damage repair. Meanwhile, though, back up towards the front, your race leader, Mike Watts, in the 99, has about a 5.6 second lead over the Raging Cajun Ed Jones, as those 3, Jones, Adams, and Kilburn, are your closest battle now for second place.
Yep, and a little bit of wheel hop back there. Again, we're still got a little bit of an eye on Norquay here now as he's coming through turn number 5, heading into turn number 6 here at the S's. His car, Taylor, what I can tell on that left side, it looks like it is hurting as he's now coming through the S's here. He's having to, looks like literally just kind of baby it and doctor that Chevrolet Camaro back around to pit road here. So his night might potentially be done here very soon. But as we go back up to Mike Watson, the 99 machine here, 5.5 seconds now lead as he comes through the start-finish line now past turn number 1. This time around here, Taylor, 20 laps already in the books. We're on lap 21 here, so just about halfway.
Yep, as we are now 2/10 of the way through the race, or 2/5 of the way through the race now, as Ed Adams Larson, or I'm having a tongue tied tonight. Ed Adams takes over the second position as he gets away and gets around the Raging Cajun Ed Jones. We've got too many Eds in this race.
Well, we've got too many Eds, we've got too many Mikes, we've got too many Peters, we've got them all here tonight.
We've got them all here.
It's a whole family reunion at the Old Bastards Racing League, and either way, something I've been paying attention to the YouTube chat a little bit here too. Here, Princess Crystal looks like she's out making a pick here tonight, Taylor. As she's got money on where was it in chat here? Her pick for tonight is Ed Larson Adams, who right now 6.5 seconds back off of the race leader Mike Watts. And Crystal, I've got some doubts. I don't know, unless we see something else go wrong here with Mike's race. We may not see Ed Adams be able to make that challenge.
He's picked up a little bit of time right now. It's about 5.9 seconds. It was over 6.4 seconds. Now it's backed up to 6.2 as they go through the carousel. So it's going to be a tight, interesting mix of strategy calls and battles between the two drivers. See what they can do as we are working our way on lap 22 of the 50 laps scheduled for tonight's race here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Most definitely. Now, and coming around through the keyhole here, again, Mike Watts hanging out and at this point, now that these guys have had one green flag stop under their belt here, and with no actual cautions, everything being all localized based on the type of incident here, no need to tighten up the field, no need to bunch them up. So now that these guys are single file, had one green flag pit stop, now it's going to be all about kind of just cruising and seeing who makes a mistake first. And at this point, we saw the one with Norquay just a little bit ago there with that Tim Hortons Chevrolet Camaro. And I've got a feeling, unless we see something else like that happen, it's probably going to be a beautiful single file finish here throughout the rest of this race.
I tell you what, Larson's almost put it in China Beach once again as he overshot the braking zone going into turn 4, but was able to keep it straight as best as he can to keep the car going and staying out of the kitty litter as they are now working their way out of turn number 9, heading through Thunder Valley.
Yep, heading through Thunder Valley here, watching Ed Larson Adams as he now comes into turn number 10. And, one thing I've noticed about turn 10, Taylor, is it's not even really a turn. It's more of a short shoot as they come up to the carousel.
Yeah, it is. It's just a slight little bend in the straightaway there. That's why they count it as a corner. And then they continue on through the track here as we now see them come up to turn number 1. The gap between Adams and Watts is now 6.9 seconds now. So that gap is going to be growing. So it's going to be a tall order for Adams. But like you said, anything is possible here at a road course.
Anything is definitely possible now as we're watching Ed Adams come through the keyhole. And for those of us up here in the broadcast booth that get to see the pretty much the all-out view, and what I mean by the all-out view, we get to see every camera at once where we pick and choose who we want to talk about here in the race today. If you go back and look now at Ed Larson Adams here, we've got a couple of different camera angles that we've got up here in the booth. If you were to look at the separation between him and Mike Watts, just as Mike Watts was coming up to the keyhole there, Mike was almost just a little bitty blip on the radar, meaning that separation is a lot larger than people will realize. And at a road course, separation like that is paramount.
It is. One small off or one small mistake can cost you very big in time compared to your competitors. You can lose time or gain so much time just by one mistake of going off course here at any road circuit, but especially here at Mid-Ohio, just because of all the elevation changes and off-camber corners here.
Most definitely. And now we're watching through the coming through the carousel now. Ed Adams here. He's coming up to the start-finish line to complete lap number 23 on his run here. And again, talking about the separation here now, 6.3 seconds. We've gained about 0.2 of a second, Ed Larson Adams has over Mike Watts. Now, as we look at the camera here, and we're seeing Watts all the way up at the entry to the keyhole here. And again, Ed Adams is seeming like he's starting to make up just a little bit of ground, just barely. But these tight-lipped corners like the keyhole and the chicane in turn number 5 really make for a rather interesting turn of events, because that can either be your detriment or to your benefit.
He was half a second faster compared to Watts that time around with a 1:27.801. Actually, the fastest car out there on the race circuit right now as they come up to turn 4, while Watts ran a 1:28.351. So he is definitely a man on a mission. Trying to see it is just where can he get that extra tenth here, extra tenth there, extra second even there.
Yeah, and I'm going to be curious to see how it all plays out for him here, too, as now he comes out of turn number 8, heading into turn number 9, getting ready to go through the short shoot at 10 here in just a moment after he exits Thunder Valley.
Take a look throughout to see what the rest of the field's got going on. I'm going to look back towards the battle between 7th and 8th, and 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, between Commandant Schultz, Rupert Schrader, and Ray Smith. These guys are battling it out for that 6th position here as they are now coming up. I believe this looks like turn number 4. No, turn number 6.
No, that is, that's 6 and 7 that they're coming into right now here. And watching Rupert in that Ford Mustang, he is getting right up on the back door of Ed Schultz or Ken Schultz. Why did I call him Ed? Boy, the whole family reunion thing really is setting in. Ken, I love you. Don't hurt me.
Anyway, Ken Schultz is trying to hold off the blue ovals here once again as they go through the carousel. Not too far behind is Ray Smith, too. So we have a 4-car battle for 6th position as they come out of turn 13 to complete the halfway point. As we see the flagman now give us the double cross flags there and make sure we're at the halfway point here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. As we see him go a little bit wide through there, it gives the opportunity for Rupert to get a little bit of ground. Will he look to the outside to pass him as they go to the keyhole? The answer will be no. He's going to just follow suit through the keyhole and maintain position this time around.
Actually, he's going to make a peek to the inside there that time and doesn't get it cleared around the exit of the keyhole here, but the back straightaway probably going to be his best shot right now if he's got anything for Ken. Now would be the time to do it before they get up into the chicane to turn number 4.
as they are making the approach to turn 4. He backs off through the corner, try to get there as best momentum he can carry. As we see Schultz go off court wide through there, this could give the opportunity for Rupert to take a position.
And he tried the inside again once more and then moves to the outside, still getting cut off by Ken Schultz. And a hard lock up there by Ken as he comes out of turn number 6, heading through the S's here at turn number 7.
Let's see what he can do as Schrader now takes another peek to the inside as they now come up to turn number 9. Some lap traffic in front of them, or is that Eric Esery? That is Eric Esery right in front of him. That's 5th place in front of him. So that one mistake Esery made has allowed Schultz, Rupert, and Schrader and Smith to catch back up to him. And so we have now a 4-car battle for 5th place.
4-car battle for 5th place indeed as they come through the carousel out of turn number 12 into the hard turn number 13 here, coming back around to the front straight and across the start-finish line here. Lap 26 is in the books, lap 25 is in the books. We are officially halfway here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and while we've got a minute here, folks, if anything changes, we'll come back immediately. But for the moment, we're going to take just a moment. This is the Old Bastards Racing League and the I-40 Media Metro Ford Cup Grand National on the Old Bastards Racing League YouTube, Facebook, and wherever OBRL is found. Be back in 2 minutes.
Go left, Biddy.
All right, we are back here at the Old Bastards Racing League on the OBRL YouTube, Facebook, and wherever OBRL is found. I'm Wayne Owens alongside Taylor Burris at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And Taylor, so far, 26 laps in the books here. We're still keeping an eye on Ed Larson Adams, though. Roughly, he's gained almost 2 seconds over the course of the last 3 laps on Mike Watts in first.
He has indeed. It's going to be very difficult to see what he can do as the laps continue to wind down. So we're going to have to try to see what he can do as we are approaching 3/5 mark of 30 laps here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
We are just about there here. Lap 27 in the book. Lap 27's in the books here, and lap 28 underway right now, coming through turn number 1 here, and the lap traffic right now seeming to be the biggest threat for Ed Adams here. As again, we talked about it in the first part of the course here. Lap traffic too also going to be a factor here because that's where most of your mistakes could potentially happen, if any at all do.
Same thing, Ed, go left.
Yeah, but it's going to be difficult in a tall order to see what they can accomplish. I'm going to go back and watch that battle, though, for 6th place. Schultz, Rupert, Schrader, and Ray Smith as well. Those 4 cars, this is probably the best battle we have out on circuit as we see Schultz holding off a hard-charging Rupert and Schrader.
We do see him holding off the battle indeed here. In fact, actually going back here to Kevin Rupert in that number 12 machine here. He gets right up just about to the nose in some corners here through turn number 1. It's about a 1-car breakaway now. Right now, coming through the keyhole, Kevin Rupert, Ken Schultz. Schultz is going to take it through the keyhole first. Hard lockup. That's going to give Rupert a chance to almost get to the inside, but scoots to the outside real quick to avoid any kind of potential contact with Schultz. And now back straight away here through out of turn number 2, heading into turn number 3, and back straight away. Not going to be friendly for Kevin Rupert. There's still going to be just enough of a breakaway, but coming now through turn number 4 here into the chicane. Will we see a potential shot for Kevin Rupert? Inside, gets on the back bumper of Ken Schultz, but still not able to do it as they exit the chicane heading to the S's.
It's going to be a good race right here between these four drivers as they are now working their way up through turn 8 and turn 9. As we see Schultz doing everything in his power to keep back the hard-charging blue ovals of Rupert and Schrader through Thunder Valley. They will go, and still Schultz holding off as they come up to turn 11.
Yep, Schultz holding off real well now, coming through turn number 11, getting ready to head into the carousel here in just a matter of seconds. And again, no lockup that time from Schultz here. That's something that we've noticed from Ken Schultz a lot here lately as well here, Taylor, is that the last 3 or 4 corners, he's had a lot of lockup, almost as if he's maybe just accidentally missing those braking points.
Could be overcooking those tires too, so he has to be careful on this section of the course, and otherwise he could be losing a lot of time and speed if he ends up messing with those tires.
Exactly, and it's going to cost him on pit road as well. But knowing that we're coming up here on lap 29, almost to lap 30 here, considering most of these guys came into pit road on lap 15 last time around, they are going to be about due for another green flag pit stop here momentarily.
We'll have to wait and see when these drivers will do as we keep an eye on our race leaders as we are approaching that time. So will Watts try to pull a different strategy, or will we see something different from Adams and Jones?
That's going to be the interesting question. We see that Mike Watts does pass by pit road at the start of lap number 30 here, coming through the keyhole. If circumstance plays any role into this whatsoever here, if Mike Watts is as smart as I think he is from a strategy perspective, we may very well see him be the first one to come back down pit road to start lap 31 next time by.
Could be a good strategy call indeed for him, as we will see. But also, if you think about it, if they're doing 15 lap segments, that's going to put the next pit stop around lap 45 with 5 laps to go left in the race. So will we see a couple of drivers stretch this middle section so that way they can maybe get an extra 5 laps to carry them to the end of the race?
That actually would be a very interesting persuasion there, because if that does indeed become the case and we see these guys hold it out for 5 laps, what if somebody actually ends up short pitting and maybe even a lap or 2 before that come in and throw everybody off kilter?
One way we'll have to see is find out, as we are now watching to see if Mike Watts will come down pit road this time by. The answer will be no. He's going to stay out on the racetrack as he is approaching some lap traffic.
Yep, he is approaching lap traffic here. I'm watching Ed Adams as well. Ed's going to stay out this time by. Let's see what Ed Jones does. Ed's going to stay out as well. Joel Tex Kilburn, he is still a good little ways back, almost 6 seconds back in 4th place, but he is going to come down pit road.
Interesting strategy call for him, as we will see what he can do for Kilburn as he comes down pit road. What about everybody else? Will they come down pit road, as we have a car off course right there as we watch Eric Esri in the 27? Couldn't quite get the number of that driver.
Yeah, I couldn't catch the number of it that time around here, but now we're going to watch Esri here, and we're going to see if Esri is going to make a pit stop. He was one of the ones that came down and made a little surprise run last time as well. No, he is going to skip pit road here. And Ken Schultz also going to skip this time. Kevin Rupert. And again, that battle for 6th and 7th respectively here, Taylor, starting to heat up just a little bit more as they come through the start-finish line here. Ken Schultz barely able to get the nose of Rupert right off his back bumper as they come through 1.
Yes, indeed, as they're working their way up towards the keyhole right now. Rupert and Schultz are the closest battle we have to watch them, as they're actually closing in on Kilburn in that number 40, as he was able to get off pit road and only lose, by the looks of it, just 1 position, dropping back down to 5th.
Yep, he's only going to lose 1 position based on the amount of separation and time here that it takes to get these guys in and out of pit road. But even with that being the case, though, losing that 1 position when Mike Watts, Ed Adams, and Ed Jones have to come down pit road, we are going to have ourselves a brand new race leader.
It will be, and we are going to have to see what they can do. Can they capitalize on the situation here tonight? We will have to find out here in a few moments once the pit stop cycle is complete.
We'll definitely have to find out. And again, right up on the rear bumper of Ken Schultz is Kevin Rupert in that number 12 Skull Bandit machine here. And Taylor, I'll tell you what, again, this battle, it's getting really, really close at times. And then they separate away, it seems like right around the chicane, right around turn number 4, 5, and 6. But then as they now come up through the carousel here at turns 12 and 13, we're going to start to see these guys get right up here, nose to tail once again, and coming down pit road this time by.
Now, you weren't the only ones who came down pit road as well. The Raging Cage and Ed Jones also just finished up his pit stop here a few moments ago. So we're now starting to see some of these drivers make their way to pit road. So the question will be, what will Watts, what will Adams do, and Esri, as those are the only ones out of the top 5 who have yet to pit?
That is going to be an interesting question indeed now. And again, as we're watching Ed Larson Adams here coming through Thunder Valley here, and not too much farther separated up is Mike Watts here. That blip on the radar that we talked about earlier, it's starting to get just a little bit larger here, Taylor. About 6 seconds even now, the separation back here between these guys as they come through the carousel. And we're still going to see, it looks like Mike does come down pit road that time by. I can't really tell, though.
Yep, Watts does come down pit road as Adams will be your new race leader out on the surface right now as he comes through turn 1. And we have to see if Watts is able to get back out on the racetrack before Ed Jones comes by, as he is now coming up to turn 11.
Questions indeed. And I'll tell you what, while these guys cycle through their green flag pit stops, we're going to take 2 and 2, 4 and fuel. We're going to be back with the OBRL here on the OBRL YouTube channel and the I-40 Media Metro Ford of Chicago Grand National Series. Hang tight, we're going to crank it up.
Staying right, Joe.
All right, we're back here at the Old Bastards Racing League and the I-40 Media Metro Ford of Chicago Grand National Series. And Taylor, Ed Adams just completed his service here. He's back out on the racetrack through the keyhole now, back on the back straightaway here past turn number 3. So that is going to fully cycle everything back around here. And it looks like Mike Watts is going to resume holding that race lead.
He will resume the race lead once again in that number 99 Bang Toyota Supra as they're working his way through the track right now. He is actually not too far ahead of Ed Adams right now. He's actually coming up to turn number 9, heading through Thunder Valley, while the 42 of Ed Adams is actually just coming up to Thunder Valley as well. So not too much of a gap.
And the interesting part too, and the more we talked about it here, is the breakaway and the uniqueness of the pit stops is the fact that Ed Adams pitted so late and there was already still so much of a separation between first and second. He didn't lose but literally one spot. Actually, if anything, he might have even gained a spot from his pit that time by.
So great strategy call indeed for these drivers now as we are working lap 35 of the 50-lap scheduled distance here for tonight's race at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. I'll give you a quick little rundown of your top 10. Currently at the top of the leaderboard is Mike Watts, followed by Ed Larson Adams in second. The Raging Cage and Ed Jones is going to be sitting in third position with Joel Kilburn in fourth. Rounding out your top 5 is Eric Esri.
And Ken Schultz sitting in 6th right now. Kevin the Bandit Rupert in 7th. Ray Smith rounding out 8th. Jim Westerfield in 9th. And Ben Shepard, who we haven't been able to talk much about tonight, is currently rounding out your top 10. And again, guys, don't forget the great part too. Metro Ford of Chicago is sponsoring this great series. If you guys need a car, make sure to visit emetroford.com to buy your next car. Our good friend here, Patrick Milligan, is one of the guys that, or actually is the guy that you want to talk to at Metro Ford of Chicago. Buy your next car there. He'll ship it anywhere in the country. And if you don't like it, I'm pretty sure even with COVID, he'd come by and pick it up for you.
I'm pretty sure he would too. You got to make sure you give a big shout out to Mr. Patrick Milligan with that, and the E-Metro Ford of Chicago region. Of course, great company, great people to talk to, and they're helping us here to continue to put on some great racing action here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, where Mike Watt is still holding on to the race lead by about 7.3 seconds over Ed Adams.
7.3, actually now a little over 8.3 seconds. He gained about a second that time by here, as now we come back by the start-finish line. Lap 36 underway here. And looking over on Facebook here, the Bandit Nation out in force tonight, pulling for the road course warrior, Kevin Rupert. But now, granted, we haven't seen too much from Kevin Rupert tonight so far, but still seeing a pretty tight-lipped battle between him and Ken Schultz here for 6th and 7th, as we're seeing Rupert try and make a look to the outside as they come through turn number 7, and a hard lockup from Ken Schultz as they come out of 8 into Thunder Valley.
As they come out of turn number 10 to set up for turn 11 out of Thunder Valley, we see Rupert take a pick to the inside, but won't make it work this time around, as Ray Smith in the 156, it's not too far on the outside. He dives it in there through the carousel, cuts through the grass. What a save, though, and almost could have messed up Rupert's night right there. That gives the opportunity, though, for him to catch up to Ken Schultz as he looks to the inside, now back in line as they head up to turn 1.
Yeah, looking through the inside, actually took a peek to the outside there as well, too, as they now exit 1. Getting ready to come up to the keyhole here, and he got right up on nose to tail on Ken Schultz that last time by in the 156 machine of Ray Smith. That was, man, you called it, Taylor. Oh, what a hard lockup, and coming into the inside now, we're going to see Kevin Rupert get by Ken Schultz now for 6th. That pass finally taking place there. That battle had been going on for every bit of about 15 laps.
And now the question is, can Rupert pull away? We wondered if Schultz was kind of holding up Rupert, and we'll have to wait and see now as they come up to turn number 4 and set up for turn 5. Through the S's, they are closing in on up and through there, as Rupert is starting to pull a little bit of a gap over Commandant Schultz as they come up to turn 6 and the S's.
Yep, getting just a little bit of a gap there, and now they come out of turn number 7, heading into turn number 8 here, and Ken Schultz is just a little bit further back there in that Arch Electric Toyota Supra here, as now they come out of turn number 9, heading into Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley, and Rupert has opened that gap up even more so to almost a full second over Commandant Ken Schultz, as he is now coming up to the carousel. And then Ray Smith once again trying to dive it in there deep to get to the carousel, to get to the inside of Schultz, but won't work this time as they come out of turn 13 and now complete lap 37.
Yeah, lap 36 of 50 now in the books here, 37 underway. And yeah, the 156 of Ray Smith, we're starting to see him make a few moves, not anything too terribly crazy as it sits right now here. And
he's feeling more racy.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little racy, but not quite yet here, as we're seeing it all single file nose to tail here. Rupert, Schultz, and Smith right there for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And that battle now coming through the back straightaway here now, and we're going to try and see Smith possibly get up on the back bumper here of Schultz as they get ready to head into turn number 4.
Turn number 4, they go in, hitting the brake zone and coming up through there. Now climbing the hill over to the blind corner of turn number 5. Ray Smith gets a little bit loose through there. That allows Westerfield to close the gap now. 4-car battle for the 6th position.
4-car battle indeed for the 6th position here. In fact, actually, let's go see old Jim Westerfield in that 35 machine. He's one that we actually haven't talked about hardly any tonight, which is kind of surprising here. The Villalobos Rescue Center, and actually, you know, I recognize that sponsor too. That is a great rescue facility in Pennsylvania. If anybody loves pit bulls, actually, speaking of that, Taylor, you recognize the show Pit Bulls and Parolees, correct?
Of course.
Well, did you know that the Villalobos is actually where that show is filmed?
Did not know that.
And yeah, the Villalobos Rescue Center is a great rescue home for pit bulls and other abandoned dogs, but pit bulls especially. have a friend of mine actually in the Pittsburgh area that raises money every year for the Villa Lobos charity, who is a gamer that plays a different game or a different type of style game, but still none yet. The fact that we see various different aspects of gaming, whether it be simulation like iRacing or other gaming, still being able to raise great amount of money for a great cause like the Villa Lobos Rescue Center.
Of course, we ourselves have a little bit of a special project that we could talk more about later on down the road involving K9 Hero Project and seeing what we can do with our charity raise.
Actually, you know what? The fun thing is I actually had a chance to sit down with Chris Scales the other day, and we officially have a name in the books. It is going to be the Project K9 250 from Daytona International Speedway on Friday, June 26th. And we're going to try and get our boys from the OBRL here involved. So instead of it being a natural race in the National Series for the Xfinity cars, we're going to get the Cup cars out, and we're going to take it for a spin around Daytona.
Sounds good. And it looks like yours truly will get behind the wheel and have a little fun here that night at Daytona.
You know what? I think even I'm going to get myself behind the wheel of a race car, too. And we're working on getting some TV coverage as well for that, too. Possibly going to have our boys at the Podium Esports Network get behind on that one.
Going to be an interesting race to see. And, of course, that is when?
That is Friday, June the 26th. That's going to be, we haven't set a time in stone yet. Probably going to be about 9 p.m. Eastern, though. Most likely is going to be our start time for the race.
As we continue to watch the laps continue to wind down here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, it's still going to be Mike Watts holding on to the race lead by about 6.3 seconds over Ed Adams, with Raging Cage and Ed Jones rounding that top three. The best battle that we see out here on the track is, of course, between Rupert Smith, Westerfield, and Ben Shepherd right now. The battle for sixth position as they come up to turn number 4. A little lockup from Westerfield in the 35 as they climb up through turn number 5 and then back to the bottom of the hill through turn 6.
Yep, coming back through turn 6 now, entering the S's here, and we're watching Westerfield and that number 35 machine as they now exit out of turn number 7 here, out of turn number 8, and coming around the short corner here at turn number 9 into Thunder Valley here, Taylor.
A great little short shoot right through Thunder Valley. Funny thing you should ask about thunder, it's actually thundering outside my house right now, so a little extra thunder added to this flare here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course as they come up to the carousel, as we still see Rupert trying to hold off a hard-charging Ray Smith.
Yeah, we're still seeing him hold off Ray Smith there in that 156 machine. And I'll be honest with you, Smith has impressed me tonight. And one thing, too, about the OBRL is the fact of triple-digit numbers come to the rookies in the racing series here at the OBRL. But some of the rookies here, I'll be honest with you, have severely impressed me coming in these last couple of races here at Taylor, especially here at Mid-Ohio and even last week at Charlotte.
Do you think Andy would have survived this?
I guarantee you probably not. He would have to pull out that little. He'd have to pull out that little rinky-dink Mazda Miata that he's going to be driving next week or next year in the ESCCA Pro Tour.
As they're now, we still watch this battle. It is now going to be 9. Okay, that was funny. I was trying to make a point out as it's 9 laps to go here for our race leader, Mike Watts. But the gap has closed a little bit from Ed Adams. It's now down 5.8 seconds. So Adams is trying to catch up to Watts, but it's going to be a little too late possibly, unless Watts makes a mistake. But still, the best battle on the track is between Rupert Smith, Westerfield, and Ben Shepherd as they're coming through Thunder Valley and approaching some lap traffic.
Yeah, coming through Thunder Valley and getting a little bit of lap traffic now, coming through turn number 11 and heading around into the carousel here. We're going to see, it looks like that 156 getting right up on the back bumper of Rupert there, and not able to, it didn't try to make a pass that time by, though. But either way around, it was still a pretty tight-knit race coming through the carousel there. Out now they're through turn number 1, and a little bit of a lockup looks like from Rupert coming out of the exit of 1, as we're going to see them now heading towards the keyhole.
As they come up to the keyhole, hitting the brake zone around that 200 marker as they come through there, hugging the inside, so that way nobody can get to the inside of them as they come off corner exit. Down the back straightaway, though, Ray Smith, though, gets a great run, and is now about a car length between him and Rupert as they go down heading to turn 4.
every bit of a car length indeed. And then also back to the Westerfield now about 2 car lengths separate himself and Ray Smith before they get to turn number 4 here. Now they're almost single file nose to tail as they come through turn number 5 up the hill and back down around again as we come into the S's out of the chicane.
Coming up to turn number 6 right now, it's still going to be Rupert holding strong from Ray Smith as they come through turn 7 and 8 out of the S's and to turn number 9. And still closing in on that lap traffic, which could be a factor for them if depending on where they catch them. Through Thunder Valley they go. Rupert now lets the engines roar through there and setting up for turn number 11 as Westerfield looks on.
Westerfield indeed looking on as now they're coming up through the carousel here, turns 12 and 13 here, and it looks like Rupert's going to get just a little bit of a light breakaway here and trying to catch up. I can't really no, he's too far behind here for Esri, so now it's just all lap traffic. They're trying to catch a number on that one car that is right there in front of them coming through the keyhole here. It might potentially be John Mankowski, but we'll have to take a look at this.
Trouble for Ben.
Trouble for Shepard indeed in the 69. Looks like Shepard got way off course here. That is going to severely hurt him there. And based on that, it looks like Ken Schultz in the 91, and he locks up the brakes again coming out of the keyhole here, Taylor. That's going to give Shepard a chance to catch up just a little bit and potentially make a move up into to try and get back into the 9th spot here. The 156 machine, though, of Ray Smith, he just dropped back hardcore. He's going to lose every bit of about 5, if not 6 spots. And now coming out of turn number 5 and into turn number 6 here, into the S's here, we're going to see Shepard pick up just a little bit of steam on Schultz here, trying to see if they can come out of turn number 8 now, coming through turn number 9, get ready to come into Thunder Valley. And we're going to see him get right up on the rear bumper of that Chevrolet Camaro on Ken Schultz here. But nope, Thunder Valley, it's going to give them just a little bit of separation now out of 10 coming through turn number 11 here. And we're going to see them come back around the carousel. That's going to complete lap number 42. We now have 8 laps to go this time by, Taylor. Well, I think Taylor's microphone might have messed up on him here on the headset side of things. So I'll tell you what. We're going to come back with 5. We're going to try to get back here with 5 laps to go. We're going to step aside, take a quick breather. Actually, hold that thought. Coming to the inside now. We're going to see Ken Schultz getting passed up by Ben Shepard. That's going to give him the 8th position coming into the keyhole this time through. We're going to take a quick break here on the Old Bastards Racing League. Be right back in 2 and 2.
Yeah, I'd go inside over here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back here at the Old Bastards Racing League. I think my broadcast partner might have fallen off the bandwagon there a little bit. He might have had a little too much of that wine here at Mid-Ohio. Well, we're going to see what we can do through the rest of the race here. We've got 7 laps to go this time by. As the biggest battle right now, we're still watching Ben Shepard and Ray Smith battling for 8th and 9th here. About a second behind here as they come through into the chicane, turns 4, 5, and 6 entering the S's here. And we're going to see what we can do this time by. All right, so actually just got word from my broadcast partner, Taylor Burris. He actually did step away for just a moment, but he went to the concession stand. So hopefully he brings me back some good food here. I heard Mid-Ohio's got a killer hot dog. While we're hanging out here with just shy of 5 to go this time by, we're going to take another 2 and 2. Crank it up. We'll be back here at the Old Bastards Racing League. All right, back here at the Old Bastards Racing League in the I-40 Media Metro Florida Chicago Grand National Series. I've been rejoined by my broadcast partner, Taylor Burris. He went down to the concession stand for a minute, grabbed himself a hot dog. Taylor, did you bring me one?
Yes, I did. Of course, I lost a little bit of power out here tonight, but hey, I'm back. I was able to get back on quickly, so I was surprised at that. I thought my night would be done. I had to go take it to the garage.
Well, I was going to say, yeah. I mean, you jolted out of here real quick. I mean, what did the lady tell you the concession stand was about to close or something, or?
Yeah, and then of course, you know, she started strobing lights all over me, trying to get my attention, and it was not pretty. So I had to get out of there and get over there quickly as I could.
Oh, that's always beautiful. Well, still watching the battle here in the 156 machine of Ray Smith, back in the ninth position. He's still battling with Ben Shepard there in the 8th position in the 69 machine here. And it's been pretty close corners the last couple of laps here, and not seeing too much difference here between these two cars. Actually, as far as lap times are concerned here, it looks like we're seeing roughly about. Actually, we're seeing Ray Smith turning faster lap times by just shy of about a tenth of a second here. And we're seeing, it looks like Shepard gets just a little squirrely there coming out of the keyhole now through the back straightaway.
It's going to be interesting to see what he can do as the laps continue to wind down here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. But it's still going to be Mike Watts, your race leader, holding strong over this situation.
Mike Watts still definitely holding strong and actually still out to a pretty commanding lead over Ed Adams, about 4.6 seconds behind here now as he comes open to turn number 4, end of the chicane here through turn number 5, and now into the S's. Now we're still sitting at about 4 laps to go this time by, Taylor. And actually now, correction, he's coming now actually through turn number 6, turn number 7, turn number 8. And the great part to this little strategy that we got going on here, we haven't seen anybody come back down pit road. So I wonder if these guys were actually short pitting, and strategy was actually to hold it out for an extra 5 laps instead of coming in as early as they did.
One way to find out as they continue to push forward here as we are closing into 2 laps left to go here at this track as we're working our way through, and still Mike Watts holding strong.
Mike Watts holding strong here. 3 laps to go this time by here. We're going to see what we get at the timing and scoring pylon this time here. Now, actually, 5 correction. We're going to see about 4.6 seconds difference between Mike Watts and Ed Adams here, first and second respectively here. Now, Mike Watts coming through the keyhole here, and the biggest battle right now is going to be between those two guys. And then the furthest next back is going to be Ed Jones in third, about 19 seconds behind in third, and then another 13 seconds behind Joel Tex Kilburn, and then every bit of about another 30 some odd seconds behind in 5th place is going to be Esri, Kevin Rupert, and Jim Westerfield.
It's going to be an interesting battle to see what they can accomplish here as we keep this watch on and see what they do about this as they continue their battle here.
Definitely still continuing the battle here, and it looks like unless, and I've got a really good feeling, unless a mistake is made by Mike Watts in that 99 machine within the next 2 circuits around this racetrack here, I have a feeling we're going to see Mike Watts coming home in victory lane tonight.
It's a very good shot. I mean, Lars Adams is trying to do everything that he can to catch back up to this battle here, but it's going to be a tall order for that number 42 Chevy Camaro and that King Hawaiian as he's working his way up, trying to catch up. Looking at the lap times between the two drivers of Watts and Adams, Watts a lot faster that time by about 0.3 of a second between him and Adams.
Yeah, just a little. Actually, no, it looks like last time by, about 0.3 of a second that time by. Actually, no, that time by the last lap fully around the circuit here. We're seeing that Ed Adams, now the faster car amongst the two, 0.6 of a second quicker that time by than Mike Watts in the first position here. As now we're seeing Watts coming through the keyhole here now. 2 laps to go this time by around Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
I think, though, it might be too late for Adams, though, as we continue to wind the laps down here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And I think it's going to be tall order for Adams to try to catch up to Watts, unless Watts makes a big mistake here in these final 2 laps.
Yeah, I got a feeling we're probably not going to see too much of an error from Mike Watts here. But again, it's funny. We talked at the beginning of the broadcast too that Ed Adams was going to be the one to watch, but based on pit strategy here, Mike Watts, did I just say Ed Watts? I meant Ed Adams. Ed Adams was going to be the one to watch. Coming up for me. Yeah, I took a little piece off of the Taylor Burris regime there as far as calling races go here. But Ed Adams was the one to watch, actually, first part of the race here. So was Ed Jones in that 14 machine. Those guys, though, pit strategy wasn't too kind to them, as now we're coming around here. We're going to see the flag man give us the white flag this time by. So, again, unless something severely crucial happens to Mike Watts is going to have this victory in the bag with a 4-second lead over Ed Adams. And then you go all the way back, almost 21 seconds back, Ed Jones in third.
We see Mike Watts now go through the keyhole for the final time as he gets a nice, smooth, consistent line through this corner, getting off the corner exit and worked his way down the back straightaway, heading up to turn number 4 here, and still hold about a 3.6 second lead over Ed Adams.
Actually, and he's gaining a little bit more as he gets ready to come through the back straightaway here now. Actually pushes it up to almost 5.5 seconds before he has to hit that braking point here. And actually, whoa, all of a sudden a nice big jump. 2.5 seconds difference now between Ed Adams and Mike Watts now as they come through the S's here in turn 6.
A great run indeed. Could this be the run we see Ed Adams do in order to try to take home the checkered flag here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course? Watts, though, trying to make sure he maintains the distance between him and Adams as they come out of turn number 9 down Thunder Valley for the final time.
Coming down through the final time here, and he's going to re-increase that distance, that gap now. Actually, about 2.5 seconds now as they come out through the carousel here. We're going to see if Ed Adams can make a last-second dash and get by Mike Watts here. And now as they come through turn number 13, it's not going to be enough. Mike Finney Watts going to bring it home here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the E-Metro 425.
With that, Ed Adams comes across the line in second as we wait to see the rest of the field come across the start-finish line. The Raging Cajun Ed Jones showed dominant performance in the first half of the race. He will come home in third, while Joel Kilburn, another strong car in the first half of the race, he's going to come across the line in fourth. A little bit further back, though, we got to keep that eye on the battle between Esri, Rupert, and Westerfield. That battle is still raging on between those 3 drivers as we watch them come on through turn 6 and the S's of 7 and 8.
And we're going to see Esri get by somebody there. It looks like he got by Rupert that time as now they come out of the S's here. And we're going to see them come now through Thunder Valley out of turn number 9 into turn number 10 here, Taylor.
Here they come up to turn 11 for the final time. Rupert doing everything he can to try to see if he can get by Esri to get a top 5 finish. It won't work this time through the carousel as he tries a last-ditch effort. Westerfield trying to go late into the braking zone as they come out of turn 13. Esri will round out your top 5, followed by Rupert and Westerfield, with Ray Smith coming up through the field right now to be your last car on the lead lap to finish here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.
Well, I'll tell you what, Taylor, we were definitely impressed here tonight by the amazing driving and skills and pit strategy, if anything, of these gentlemen here at the Old Masters Racing League in the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Complex. we are going to go ahead and take ourselves one final commercial break here. We're going to get our top three. We're going to talk to them here in about 2 minutes on the Old Bastards Racing League YouTube, Facebook, and wherever the OBRL is found. We'll see you here in just a few moments.
Y'all get lined up. I'll be there in a minute. I got to get my shit back to pit road here. Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it's shamed upon. All right. Y'all can go.
All right, we're back here at the Old Bastards Racing League. I'm Wayne Owens alongside Taylor Burris. Sandy DeLay off doing his thing at the SCCA at the Worldwide Technology Speedway this weekend. But we have had the opportunity now to be joined by some amazing groups of folks here down in Victory Lane. We've got Taylor Burris with Mike Watts.
Mike 50 Watts taking home the checkered flag here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Mike, congratulations. Tell us about the strategy in order to take home this checkered flag here.
Well, this was the site of my first win last year, and I pretty much learned from Steve Thompson about the strategy here. So I knew I couldn't get by Eddie and Joel on that first run, so I decided I was just going to pit early, get some new tires, and just see where we came out at, and it worked out. And then just try to stay ahead of the rest of the field on the next pit stop.
How difficult is it to try to manage your tires, plus making sure you had enough fuel on that second stop to carry you to the end of this race, plus trying to hold off a hard-charging Ed Adams?
It's tough. I mean, just working the car around the track is a hell of a job here, because I mean, these cars are heavy, and you got to kind of muscle them around. And then, I could see Ed was closing in there at the end, so it was tough. But I knew from practice that we could get about 19 and a half, 20 laps on fuel, so fuel wasn't an issue. It was just the tires, trying to manage the tires, try not to lock them up, hit your marks, and hit all the apexes. That's all I could do.
Well, before we let you go, Mike, who do you have to thank who helps you race from week to week?
Well, I mean, I've got great teammates. I got Troy Torgerson and Dan Berghoff and Dakota Pinch, and the rest of these guys in this league. I mean, they are excellent racers, and they push you so hard to perform. And if you can beat one of these guys, I mean, it's a feat. And I'll cherish this win for a while, because I don't win very often, and it's kind of nice to finish in front of these guys.
Well, congratulations on your win. Mike 50 Watts takes home the checkered flag here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, and Wayne has caught up with the second place finisher, Ed Adams.
Ed down here in pit lane with Ed Adams. Ed, what a hell of a race tonight, buddy. You had it for quite a while there in that Kings Hawaiian Chevrolet, but it looked like pit strategy was the one that did you in tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm over here apologizing to the team. They gave me one heck of a hot rod, and I just leaked talent. We'll leave it at that. The pit stops were fine. I just made mistakes early in the run on fresh tires. Just didn't have the heat in them to push the way I was. And in this league, you cannot make mistakes like that and think you're going to win. So it was just a recovery after that time. And Fitty, if anybody's going to win the road races, and I can't be there in Winter Circle, I'd love seeing Fitty in Winter Circle. We share an endurance car for Daytona and Le Mans, so really happy to see him in Victory Lane.
Most definitely, buddy. Well, I'll tell you what, before we wrap up and get you out of here, who you got to thank for the night?
We got to thank you guys for putting on a show up there, getting the eyeballs on it, the OBRL, for everything they do. It's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. The best drivers are here, so come and join us. Everybody on the Kings Hawaiian, the best tasting sweet rolls out there. So when Thanksgiving comes around, you make sure to think of that orange 42. Other than that, guys, just going to say have a good night.
All righty. Well, that is it. Larson Adams, your second place finisher down here in pit road. And it looks like Taylor's just a pit stall down the way here with Ed Jones in that 14 machine.
Here with Eddie the Raging Cajun Jones. What a great run that you had. Struggled a little bit towards the last half of the race here today, but still dominating in the first half. Tell us about how things were going for you.
Well, I mean, it's no secret. Ed and Fitty are the class act when it comes to these road courses, and I'm just trying to learn. The first half of the race, they made mistakes and got by them. Second half of the race, I mean, they just, they showed what they know what to do on a road course. I'm just out there going around trying to stay on the track. That's all I'm really doing.
Well, with that, before we let you go, Eddie, who are the people you like to thank from week to week?
Well, I've got to thank one of my teammates. He's MIA tonight. I don't know where he's at. That's Steve the Mule Thompson. And the other is the Texan, Joel Kilburn. They helped me a lot, pushed me. I pushed them. We talk bad to each other, but at the end we work together pretty good. So, and appreciate all y'all do for us.
Well, that is Eddie, the Raging Cajun Jones, coming home and rounding out your top three here tonight at Mid-Ohio.
Most definitely. And Taylor, parting thoughts too. It was actually kind of unique because Steve the Mule Thompson, from what I've understood, is one hell of a road racer, and to not see him in tonight was actually kind of unique. But we talked to Peter Kopko, obviously, before the race got underway here, and rumor had it that Steve actually fell asleep in his hauler. So not really a chance to get out and do anything here tonight. But on that note here, we're going to get ready to wrap things up with the OBRL. And actually, we're going to look over at the schedule for next week here. Let's see where we're going to see our good friends at the OBRL at here. And it looks like next week is going to be Kansas Speedway, Taylor. I'm pretty excited to see what happens. Actually, no, it's not going to be Kansas Speedway. It's going to be Michigan next week on the schedule here.
High speed, a lot of drafting opportunity is basically the second type of super speedway that we have here on the circuit for a lot of these drivers. Are going to have to take their might, make sure that they keep that car and engine cool, not to be too close to their competitors. We'll have to see how they are able to accomplish the tight pack racing at Michigan.
Definitely should be interesting. Well, I'll tell you what, folks, until next Friday night at 9 o'clock, I'm Wayne Owens. That's Taylor Burris. And we'll see you again next week here on the Old Masters Racing League. Again, congratulations to Mike Thinny Watts for taking home the win here at the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.